I'm Ann Howe, and I live in what used to be called Cameron Park. It's now called Forest Park in Raleigh, which is really toward the center of Raleigh. I'm the widow of a UU minister. I had been a UU long before I came to UUFR. But when I came in the mid-'80s, we didn't have the building, so we met in the other building. I left for 6 years, and when I came back in 1995, the congregation then met in what is now the downstairs. So one of the things that happened then was planning to build what is now the sanctuary. And then the question was how to get the finances to build it. I grew up a Baptist and went to Sunday school every Sunday with my grandfather. He used to walk me over. It was very close. And I was serious about it. But when I got in my early teens, I started realizing I could just not believe in the virgin birth when I found out where babies came from and all of that. And so then another thing was predestination. I realized I just can't believe in these things. So my husband had been sort of a vague Presbyterian. My family went to church a lot, but his family sort of went now and then. When we first started, we went to Universalist Church because the two had not merged. But after a bit they did. And then most churches became Unitarian Universalists, whether they'd been Unitarian or Universalists. When they merged, the Universalists had come out, both of them had come from Christian background. And the Universalists were called that because they believed in universal salvation, that no one would be sent to hell. The Unitarians did not believe in the Trinity. They thought God was one. So that was unity or unit. So that's how they were. But they had both had Christian backgrounds. But by the time they merged, they had moved away from a strictly Christian orientation or background. And so, no, I don't think it really changed the churches much. They just basically took on a different name. The events that are memorable are I was here for the 50th anniversary. And so I remember that. We had a big, celebration of 50. Also, my husband was buried. His funeral was at the church. Who were the memorable people? The one I thought about right off bat was Barbara Michaels. She sort of kept things together and going. In between the ministers sort of come and go. We've had quite a few. Barbara Michaels held things together. Ellen McMillan also held things together. They were different. Their personalities were very different. But they were at the church a lot, just to sort of keep things in the office and just sort of seeing that things were going along. They put a lot of themselves into it. Then I was thinking about Pete, and what Pete's last name was, I cannot remember, but Pete was a character. The annual meeting was always kept going a long time anyway. But he was a very faithful member, and even though at one time one of a minister we had said been something disparaging about Pete, but he was sort of a character, but people took up for him because he cared about the church, stuck with the church, on fellowship. What's different between our church and others? Well, in general, between the denomination of the Unitarian Universalists, it gives you freedom of belief, so that there's a problem there. Some people seem to think you can believe anything, which is not so. But you're free to work out your own, as they say, work out your own salvation, to work out what you can honestly believe. And you're not forced to consent to anything that you don't believe. If you have to consent to certain things in other churches, then you don't have to do that. And so it's freedom of belief is what the UUs have that other churches really don't have. But what I would like it to be is slightly like more of a religious community. we say that we take, that we get our beliefs from all the main world religions, but we don't really hear much about that. And I think that it could be tend a little more in that way, to have a little bit more what's really a religious basis for the things that the church espouses and the things that people do. Because all the good things that people do are good. I mean, all the activities and helping people in this way and that are good things to do. But I think that for me, it would be more meaningful to have a little bit more religious content or sort of basis for the things that we do. So it'd be more of, you could say, spiritual community or religious community, rather than just a community, which it is.